You're welcome to the webinar. She means business, building successful ventures from home. Over the next 60 minutes, we'll be diving into the world of home-based business entrepreneurship. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to expand your existing business, this webinar is packed with insights and strategies to help you navigate the journey ahead. So throughout our time together, you'll hear from some of our incredible speakers who will share invaluable tips and strategies to help you succeed. We'll be placing a strong emphasis, though, on the legal aspect of running your business, because we notice that most small businesses, especially, do not really take that into consideration. Most people just want to start their business and start selling and making money, but there are lots of legal aspects you should consider, like taxation, like registrations, and a whole lot of other stuffs. So our second speaker today will be tackling that. And I'm proud to tell you that this webinar is brought to you by Kamel, a trailblazing social commerce company. So at Kamel, we are very passionate about empowering entrepreneurs, irregardless of their access to capital. And this webinar is our way of commemorating Women's Month, and we are providing a platform for women to unleash their potential. So get ready for an enlightening and empowering session, and let's get started. I would like to introduce our first speaker. Aurelie's journey into entrepreneurship began with a vision of a more sustainable future. After a decade as a senior marketing executive, she embarked on a mission to debunk stereotypes surrounding second-hand shopping. In 2016, Aurelie founded Petite Fox in South Africa, igniting a passion for the circular economy. And after moving to Portugal in 2022, she continued her venture by launching Petite Fox Portugal alongside a fellow mom entrepreneur. And today, Aurelie will be joining us to share her remarkable journey of building Petite Fox. And she will also be sharing with us the challenges she faced, the lessons she learned, and a commitment she makes to making a positive impact in the continent. So thank you so much, Aurelie, for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction and the invitation.
Awesome. So to start with, can you tell us about the inspiration behind Petite Fox? Like, why did you choose to focus on kid thrift clothing?
Yeah, well, I think it's good to know that Petite Fox was born from a need. I mean, I was a mom of two. I was a working mom of two, and I was really frustrated about how time-consuming it was to source quality clothes for my kids. It was either expensive or it was just hard to find. So when I had my second child, it was a boy, and the first one was a girl, and I was left with a lot of clothing as well. So obviously, I mean, my boy wore a lot of pink onesies at first, but I mean, it goes doesn't go a long way. So when I tried to sell that clothing for my daughter as well, it wasn't any easy. So I knew I was an only parent in that situation. So that's sort of how Petite Fox was born. So the idea was to I knew there was a way parents should be able to buy quality clothes for their kids and as well sell them to make some money. So that's why I started on kids' clothes. And I think the other question was why I specifically stayed on kids' clothing. The reason is that I find that women's clothing is a totally different market, and I felt that staying on that niche market, I would be able to really focus on the specific needs that it represented.
What were some of the biggest challenges you faced when you started your business from home? Because I remember you telling me that you actually started from your bedroom, and that was impressive. So yeah. What were the challenges you encountered doing that?
Yeah, so I started from scratch. Yes, like we were in a discussion. Yes, started in my bedroom. We were living like 4 of us in a 60 square meter flat. Started stacking boxes. So everything had to be created, from the processes, the branding, the website itself, building the stock. So everything had to be thought, and there was no other websites that I could sort of base myself on or help or see, compare, etc. So that was a big challenge to bring that concept into life. And also, I mean, like everyone else, I mean, I didn't have a lot of cash at disposal to build a website and buy the stock. So that was, both challenges. Yeah.
Awesome. So how did you overcome those challenges?
Well, I think now in retrospective, it's easy to say it, but I just started. I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and then I realized that I have to start somewhere. So I started looking in the classifieds for stock for kids' clothes, and I contacted the moms, and then on weekends I would pick up the clothing. And quickly, what I managed to do is actually free up. I asked my employer to work a bit less, obviously reduce my salary at the same time, but I managed to have a free day during the week where I could really concentrate on building that business. So during that free day, I could work on the processes. I could go buy the stock directly to the mom's houses. I remember actually I'm not knocking at doors, but contacting people from the classifieds and then sitting in on their bedroom floor, like assessing the clothes of the kids and say, okay, I can buy this, and then like, leaving with the bag of clothes. And so I was like actively, searching that stock. And then what I did is that we used a little bit of our savings it was sort of a leap of faith where we used some of our savings to have the site built. And luckily I had a work colleague, a web developer, who helped me as well to build it. So yeah, in a nutshell, I just started and then,
Going online these days is actually not easy. Like there are so many businesses that are available, they are present online. So what did you do to like make Petite Fox obvious? Like what are the things you did to actually get this eyeballs online, to get people to actually notice you and say, oh, this person actually sells what I'm looking for? What were the tactics to grow your business online?
So obviously word to mouth is work only on the local basis. So what I did is that I started posting on Facebook groups where moms were active. So I was sharing what Petite Fox was doing with the link to the website. And I started creating a social media presence. So I started creating that Instagram page and populating it with content. I tried to create a page, not just for selling products, but to show moms that, hey, secondhand is cool. Look at those beautiful products. And so I started working on that. I entered some entrepreneur award competition that were available in South Africa at the time. And I tried to leverage that, to work around that communication, to send some PR, some press release to media companies. And I really tried to use the social media as to boost my online presence.
Okay. So do you run ads a lot, or you relied more on organic growth with your social media platform?
They were both of them. By posting regularly, by being active on social media, you organically grow. What I did is that as soon as budget was allowing for it, I was boosting posts and paying for ads, and people were coming, and then so there was already content. It's just a snowballing effect.
Can you share the valuable lessons that you learned along the way that could benefit aspiring entrepreneurs, especially those who may think that they want to also start a business from scratch from their home?
I'd say my first advice is really start. Just get started. I mean, if you have an idea, if you've got a product, something you want to push, or I would say just start somewhere, because when you take your first step, it will be very small, it will be very scary, but the second step will become obvious, and the third one even more obvious. You will create your line, and it will help you. So really start. Just get started, because if you don't, then obviously nothing will happen, and also someone can start it also instead of you. So I would just start. And I would say really have a clear vision of where you want to go, what you want to do, whatever the scale it is. I think it's important to know why you're doing it, whether it's for financial freedom, whether it's for you want to show the world what you're producing, or you need to have a clear vision. And I believe that this is really going to help you to go where you want to go.
One of the challenges of working from home is the fact that it's hard for you to differentiate work from home, especially when you're working from home. Sometimes it's the work that you're putting so much effort in, or sometimes it's the work you are putting little effort in and more effort at home. So how do you maintain a work-life balance if you're working as an entrepreneur from home?
The balance, yeah, work-life balance. I don't even know if it's something that is even really possible. Like, it's like happiness. Is it something you can really achieve? Yeah, it does require effort. Look, I think at first, I would say in my personal experience, I went through the extremes. I went from working nights and weekends and free time. I was obsessed with it. It was like almost like a hobby. It didn't feel like it was hard, but obviously you get tired eventually. I think it's all about setting boundaries. I mean, if you start your own business, you're most likely very passionate about what you're doing, so you will feel great, but you have to be aware of, getting tired. And yes, I would say set limits. You really need to set limits, especially if you've got kids. You not only you won't have time for them if you're too absorbed, but you will feel guilty that you're not spending time with them, and that's a bad circle. So I would say try and draw a line where you think is somewhere that is not negotiable, like when the kids come back from school and you force yourself not to check emails, or I started not opening emails on weekends, because you know what, customers also need to learn that businesses don't have to reply 24/7 and on weekend. I mean, it's something as well that they need to understand. So I'd say you have to put limits yourself. There is no secret recipe there.
Can you talk about a memorable moment or a milestone you've achieved since you started Petit Fox, both in South Africa?
The biggest milestone is definitely when I signed the lease for my first office. That was a big deal. My husband was like, enough, you get out of the house, enough with those boxes. It was really taking over everywhere. The signing the lease, and then obviously hiring the first employee. And that was also a really exciting time. Look, all those milestones also attached to very stressful, it's very stressful as well, but that was really really great moment. And then also getting feedback from moms when you meet them and you see them when they come at the office and then pick up their order, or you meet someone in another environment and then they say, "Oh, Petit Fox, I know it's great, I love you," and it's always a great thing to hear. So I consider this like memorable moments.
So how do you see the future of Petit Fox evolving in the next couple of years? What are the goals you have for the business?
So there is still a lot to cover in South Africa. Even just in South Africa, we've got a lot of market to cover. And the goal for Petit Fox is really to make online shopping for second-hand clothes mainstream, and there's a lot of work to be done. I'm really, really hoping that the market will open more and more, and I think it would help if big corporates came to the game by including circular economy to their business model. I started Petit Fox Portugal last year, and because the business model, I believe, can be reproduced anywhere. And I'm just excited to see where next. How do I manage my processes and tasks? Does it get overwhelming? Okay. So yes, it can get very overwhelming. What has to be done is, I find is the business at first would be small. So I would say implement processes from the beginning. Try to I don't know what's the word, but try to create systems from early on, so that you don't get you systemize things, or you decide, okay, on that day I'm gonna focus on this, on that other day I would focus on this, and try to stick to that plan. Because if you try to tackle everything at the same time, it will never work. So I'll say, to avoid being overwhelmed, you have to plan ahead. Plan your week ahead, the Friday before, and see, what do I need to achieve next week? So I need to make time for that. And then obviously you have to factor in all the incoming tasks, but by planning ahead, it would definitely help you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Aurélie.
You're welcome.
If you have any questions for Aurélie, please, you can drop them in the chat, or you can unmute and ask your questions. Some people advise and say it's better if you go offline first, and then as you start to grow, then you go online. What approach would you feel is more appropriate, or what would you say most people should consider?
Your first customer should be your family and friends. You should just approach them, because they already trust you, so there's no barrier there. So and then they use them as people who would just spread the word. Speak to people around you. I find that women are often shy about talking about the business. We feel like we're bragging if we talk about it. We don't feel legitimate. Men have a very different approach. I think now in retrospective, I should have been more loud about what I do, And
Exactly.
hey, know me, buy from me. It's cool what I do, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. All right. Thank you so much, Aurelie.
You're
We'll
welcome.
move
Thank you
into our
very much.
next speaker now. She's here. Thank you so much. That was so insightful and
Great.
educating.
Have a good webinar.
All right, thank you. We're supposed to hear from Hafsat about the legal regulations and compliances that small businesses have to abide by. And we thought it was very important to actually tackle this issue because most people just start businesses without thinking about the legal requirements or the legal considerations. I mean, there are lots of small business owners who actually have businesses that are not registered. They have businesses, they're not paying taxes. They have businesses, they don't have the certifications and the right regulatory documents that should govern their business. And these are things that you ought to take into consideration because even if you're running your business smoothly for now, in the long run, if you don't do these things properly, they may hurt you. So Hafsat is not available at the moment, but we are going to be joined by Mariam. Mariam Yakub is a serial entrepreneur and a mentor and also a coach. And she's the founder of Mainstream Limelights Ltd. She's the producer of Mazine Foods, which is an agro-processing company. And she's committed to producing and packaging a variety of ready-to-cook foods. So Miriam is going to be talking to us today about the things we should take into consideration as far as the law is concerned, especially for women running their businesses from home.
Hello, good evening. I hope I'm clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. You're much clearer.
All right. Thank you very much for having me today. I'm Mariam Yakubu, just like she said, and I'm here to represent Barrister Hafsat, even though I was only informed like 20 minutes ago. So I'll only speak as a business person, not from the legal perspective, right?
Yeah.
Please forgive me, I can't turn on my video at the moment, please.
Oh, no worries. No worries at all.
And the product over there. Okay, fine. So as a business person, once you start, you might not register your business immediately. Just like the last speaker said, your first customers should be your family and friends. Yeah. So once you probably have an idea and you're able to give it to your family and friends to try. For instance, I'd like to use probably date powder as an example. Okay, I discovered, oh wow, I want to start producing date powder, and my first customers are going to be my family. I'll give them for trial, right? I'll give them for trial. And once I get, okay, yes, this is good, you can go ahead and start. Then I think of, okay, a business name.
Okay.
And I'll say this for a fact that a lot of businesses that are not registered don't chance to benefit from all the opportunities from the federal government. That's the truth. There are lots of opportunities, but most of them are meant for registered businesses. Once you register your business with Corporate Affairs Commission, you can register as a business name or as a limited liability. If you want to open an NGO, you can register as an NGO, whichever one you want. Once you go to CAC office, they will guide you on the type of registration you need to do. Then, depending on the type of business you are into, it's for someone like me, I'm required to register with NAFDAC, register my products with NAFDAC, with SON, and if I want to export if I want to export my products to international bodies, I will have to register with FDA and HACCP as well. Then also, if you want to be an exporter, you have to register with Nigerian Export Promotion Council. These are all regulatory bodies that we all need to register with as businesses. And I'll tell you for a fact that there are a lot of opportunities you stand to benefit once you're registered with these organizations. They are always there to guide you. That's the truth. They're always there to guide you and to put you through. And if there are capacity buildings, it's you they will call on first. I hope I'm not talking too much. How many minutes do I have?
Oh, you have enough minutes. Please go ahead.
All right, okay, good. Then aside being registered with these regulatory bodies, you can also register with associations in the states, right? For example, we have NASFI, Nigerian Association of Small Scale Enterprise. We have NASI, National Association of Small Scale Industrialists. There are several associations you should belong to so that you don't miss out. You can't
Okay.
be an island, right? You're supposed to be part of most of these associations in this at the state level, so that when there are opportunities, you'll be called upon.
Sure.
I would like to stop here for now.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much. I just want to make a little announcement. We have an accompanying ebook for this webinar, same title as the webinar, and you will get to, in the book, you'll get to discover various businesses that you can set up by yourself at home, from creative businesses like fashion design, crafting, jewelry making, to digital ventures like virtual assistant businesses, e-commerce, drop shipping, and also culinary and hospitality businesses. We're talking restaurant services, B&B and all. So you can discover the different businesses that you can actually get started with for those who already haven't started yet. And for those who have started, it also guides you on the resources you can go to learn more about how to scale and grow your business, and ways to acquire your customers, and also how to scale and enter your market. So feel free to access the drive and download the book. There was a time I had a friend who registered her business, and she even registered for the taxation laws and all of those things. And
Okay.
the thing is, she at some points regretted it, because she said sometimes even as businesses, when you're not making profits and all of that, you still have to pay tax. So have you experienced something like that with your business? Do you pay tax on your business? Let's start with that.
Yes, we are legally registered. We try to do everything formal so that okay, probably I won't say I know what happened, but there are chances that she didn't do it right to start with, because for businesses who don't make up to 25 million, I know they are not supposed to pay taxes, right? And whatever she's paying, it's not much. If she doesn't make a profit for that month, she can file nil return. It's allowed. You can file nil returns.
Okay.
So it depends on how she's filing her returns. It depends on how she's filing her returns, right? If she doesn't make profits in a particular month, she's supposed to file nil returns. And when they come and they confirm, she will not be penalized. That is the truth. And if she has not started business, she doesn't have to go to FIRS. She can just be she can just tell them no, she has not started, but she can be registered with them. She can have their TIN number. But when she now starts her business, she can go back to them and say, okay, yes, I've started my business, but then any month there's no profit, I do file new returns sometimes, because it's not all of our products that we are supposed to pay tax for, right? So there are times I file new returns.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hafsat is here, and I'm so glad that she was able to join. Oh, hello, Hafsat. Wow.
Hi.
Hi, I'm so happy you're able to join. I'm really, really excited to have you here. Before I leave the floor to Hafsat to talk, I'd like to introduce her. So she's a powerhouse in the world of corporate law and community development. And as the CEO of Easy Comply and the founder and the president of the Association of Northern Women Entrepreneurs, she's dedicated her career to empowering women in business. Now, Hafsat is an expert in managing risks and ensuring legal compliance. Hafsat's strategic guidance has helped countless businesses navigate complex compliance matters while maintaining operational efficiency. And over the next few minutes, you'll be learning from her how to stay on the right side of the law as you start and grow your business. She will be sharing invaluable insights on regulation and compliances that are essential for small businesses, particularly for women running home-based ventures. So Hafsat, it's nice to have you here. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. And I am very sorry I got a clash. Another webinar just prolonged. So thank you for the introductions, and I'm happy to be here always to support small businesses. And Mariam, I got some of Mariam's presentation and she did very well before I came in. So suffice to say that compliance with the law for businesses is something that is mandatory, you know, because it is being backed by law. In Nigeria, the law guiding businesses is called the Companies and Allied Matters Act. It is part of the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that makes it not optional, but mandatory. So what the law specifically says is that once you start up a business and you're using a name other than your own personal name, you must have to get it registered to protect yourself and to protect others. So registration, the first point of registration for all business entities, whatever the size, is the Nigerian Corporate Affairs Commission. That's the first. Okay. So what's I'll just like briefly state your pre and post incorporation obligations as small businesses, because they say ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So that is why, you know, you don't get excused when you're caught up in the law. So as a business, I've mentioned the pre-incorporation obligation. You have to pay, you have to be legal, because it is voluntary, it is not voluntary, it is mandatory. Then secondly, once you are registered, there are some returns, a return called annual returns that is payable to the Corporate Affairs Commission. So if you are registered as a small business, as a business name, because we have 3 categories of registration with the Corporate Affairs. We have the business name, which is mostly for enterprises, those that have products, they want to name the products. I have a brand I want to name, you know. So the second category is the company, which can be a limited liability company or a public company or a company limited by guarantee. So I don't want to get to those complex kinds. But for the purpose of this engagement, I will stick to the limited liability company, because that's usually the starting points for small companies. And the other third category is the NGO, which is a non-profit organization. So all these registrations are registrations you can get with the commission. So for the purpose of this gathering, I would like to focus on the company and the business name. So once you get registered as a business name, you have to pay your annual returns from the very next year. Say you registered in 2023, so you start paying your annual returns from January to June of 2024. So a lot of people do not know that. So what happens if you do not pay within the time frame stated by law is that a penalty will accrue on your registration, on your organization. And the penalty is a flat rate of 5,000 Naira. The main payment is 3,000 Naira. So you get to pay 3,000 Naira only for the whole year, but you get to pay it within January to June of every year. So it's very important for business name owners to take note of this. And once you go to pay 1st July, you pay 8K instead of 3K. So it's really, really important. Yes. And what happens if you've been defaulting, maybe because you do not know that you're supposed to be paying, and you say you registered in 2020. So it means that you have penalties. You're supposed to pay 8K times 4, times 3. You know, that is if it's from 2020 and we're in 2024. So you're paying 8K times 3, then you pay 2024 at 3,000 Naira. So I hope that is really clear. So if you are registered as a company, on the other hand, the payment, the annual return payment for a company is 5,000 naira. And you get to pay it from January to December of every year. But when you register a limited liability, you have a grace period of 18 months within which to start paying. You understand? So you get some grace for a company, but you don't get any grace for a business name. So 18 months, you start paying from 18 months, and your payment is usually within January to June of the payment year. And it's in such a way that you're not eligible to pay 2024 till 2025. I hope it's not too complex. No matter how complex it sounds, please assimilate it to avoid penalties. So you don't get to start paying 2024 till 2025. And now 2023 is due. So a lot of people are now paying 2023 without penalty. But you get to pay 2022, 2021, 2020 with penalty. So the penalty, as I mentioned, is also a flat rate of 5,000. So when you're paying your limited liability annual returns with penalty, you get to pay 10,000 naira. So imagine if you're owing for like 5 years, that is 50,000 naira, and it's not desirable. So that's for that. So for the issue of tax, a lot of people confuse the annual returns payable to the Corporate Affairs Commission with the tax that is payable to the FIRS. FIRS is the Federal Inland Revenue Service. So the reality is that business names are supposed to be registered with their state revenue service, not the Federal Inland Revenue Service. But a lot of people just go to FIRS to register, but it's not supposed to be so. You're supposed to register with your state Inland Revenue Service. That's for business names. But when you're registered as a company, it is the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, that is in charge of your registration. And the registration is, you hear people say TIN number, TIN number. It means, so every company and identification number. So by the time you're registered, CAC, the next point of call is or your state inland revenue, your TIN number. It's easy. You get to go registration documents, fill some for free. Then your bank for account transacting your business. So this, Mariam already mentioned that. Okay, according to the current financial regulations that we're operating on, small businesses do not pay tax as far as their total annual turnover is not up to 25 million. So now if we just do a little vote here and say how many of us have a turnover of over 25 million per annually, I'm sure we're not really, even me, I'm not really, you know, so it's only when it is over 25 million naira that you get to pay the 7.5% tax. But there's a big but. You must have to notify FIRS that you have not made 25 million. You have to keep in touch. They have what is called Tax Pro Max account. So when you go to obtain your TIN, be sure to inform them to activate your Tax Pro Max account. And the Tax Pro Max account enables you to do it by yourself. You have your own personalized account for your company where you get to log in and say, in the month of February 2024, I have not made up to 25 million. You know, just submit it. It is failure to inform the FIRS that, you know, makes you fall into traps or maybe penalties or issues, then what you know have to pay is VAT. Because even the tax, we have different kinds of tax that may be complicated. You know, I don't want to overload you with information, but sticking to the basics, there are different kinds of tax. But the two most important are the tax, your company tax, your company income tax, and the VAT. VAT is called, the meaning of VAT is value added tax. And what value added tax means is the tax you collect as a business owner on behalf of the government. You know, when you go to big stores abroad and you buy something, even if it's a pen of 100 naira, you will see VAT there. They will remove a certain percentage of VAT, right?
Yes.
But when you go to some stores in Nigeria, you will not see that. It's because they do not know that they're supposed to be collecting on behalf of government. So the VAT is not it's not supposed to come from your profit or your income. VAT is supposed to come from your customer, the person that is buying from you. So he buys this biro for 100 naira, and the VAT, 7.5 VAT on 100 naira, say is 75 naira. You know, so you charge the person 75 naira, and he gets to pay you 175 naira. I hope you are following. So at the end of every month, you're supposed to sit down and calculate all the VAT that you have collected on behalf of government and deposit it to the Federal Inland Revenue, because it is not yours, it's for government. So value added tax, that is what it means. So that is what you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be operating. There are most businesses that are embracing technology. You know, they automatically key that into their cash registers, you know, and it just goes on automatically. At the end of the month, you just see what the amount is and you just retrieve it. So if you are not leveraging on technology, but you have your books, ensure to really be mindful about that. So other organizations are there that are also government certifying agencies in Nigeria. Mariam mentioned it, like the if you produce stuff and you want to export, you must go to the Export Promotion Council. If you're, for instance, in the oil and gas, there are organizations that regulate the oil and gas business in Nigeria, like the DPR, that you must register with. So it is very, very important for business owners to stay knowledgeable about their niche, to know the compliances that affect their niche so that they can do the necessary registration. And it's very important for them to understand when and what to pay, if any, because there are some that you're not expected to pay any returns or anything, but there are some that you need to. Then Mariam also mentioned the importance of belonging to networks, like entrepreneurial networks, like the Association of Northern Women Entrepreneurs, other ones, Business Women's Network, other ones that are not even women-centric, like the NASME, NASC. What this does for you is to expose you to a lot of resources and information, you know, that you need to grow. And that network is very key for any business owner, if you're a serious business owner, because I always brag that I am rich. Whenever I mention that I am rich, people will start looking at me, they think I'm rich, my account is, but I have a lot of network. I have people, I have human resource, people that whatever I need, I just leverage on my network and I get it. And it's a blessing, because sometimes resources like that even are more than cash, you know?
Yeah.
I will be sitting down and somebody will just recommend me for one important stuff that maybe I'll get maybe $500,000, or, you know, it's better than somebody just handing me 100K. So please, as business owners, let's be very intentional about building network, about learning and continuous learning about our business, about what we need to do and what we need to how we need to grow. Thank you so much for having me. I hope I have not overspoken because I didn't really get any instruction as to time, and I'm sometimes accused of over talking. So, so I will just leave the floor open for questions.
Okay, sure. In terms of speaking of questions, I think I want to go first. So you are the president and the founder of the Association of Northern Women Entrepreneurs. So what are the requirements if I'm a woman entrepreneur and I want to join your association? What does it take to be a part of your association?
Okay, so the first requirement is for you to be a woman, of course, and again, to be in business. So secondly, you just need to register. We're online at www.anwi.com.ng. You register on that platform, and after registration, you get to, you have access to our online marketplace, and you have access to other platforms where we share information, we network, we handhold each other, because it is a community where we support ourselves. And again, we know that in northern Nigeria, we have a lot of catching up to do because of a lot of barriers we face, and one of which is language barrier. Not everybody gets the opportunity to come on a platform like this and understand what they are saying. And we have brilliant and dedicated women that are actually doing business and they want to grow. So we do most of our programmings in Hausa language, even though not all. So we are really community centric, and we we're big on the bottom up approach. So anybody can join us and offer ourselves both as a beneficiary of our programs and also give volunteer to mentor others. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I've dropped a link to the Women Association so you can join. If you're a woman, obviously, and you have a business, you are very well qualified to join. So please don't hesitate. Networking is very important. So let's endeavor and make sure that we actually network with other entrepreneurs and we join communities that can help build our businesses. I'd like to show our appreciation to the speakers. So Hafsat, to Aurelie, to Mariam, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and sharing your invaluable insights during today's webinar. It's truly been enlightening and an enriching experience for all of us. So before we conclude, at Kamel, we have a special surprise to express our gratitude for your time and expertise. And we are thrilled to present you with a tree certificate from One Tree Planted, an organization that is dedicated to reforesting the world and combating climate change. So what we've done is we've planted a tree in your names in an African forest. So we will give you a certificate for the tree and a link to kind of follow up and see how your tree grows, and of course, how it impacts the community it's planted in. So I will share my screen now with you just to show the certificate. And obviously we'll send you the link in your email. Okay, there's a question for you. Yvette asks that, does joining the association require a certain turnover?
No, it does not. It does not, but we put it there just for to be able to see the kind of turnover that is more prominent within our member spread.
All right. So can you see my screen?
Yay! Awesome.
Okay, so this is for Mariam. This is for Hafsat, and this is for Aurelie.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. That's pretty cool.
You're welcome. So I hope you follow up and see how far your tree grows and how well it impacts the community and the forest it's planted in. We'll share the link with you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Feel free to check out the Kamel websites. What we also do is to empower businesses, women and men, obviously, but yeah, small businesses. We help you grow, we help you start, manage, and grow your business. And also we have a group buying marketplace and a dropshipping marketplace at the same time. So if you want to go into business, you don't have the capital to start, Kamel is your go-to place. So all you have to do is sign up on the platform as a reseller, a drop shipper, and you can start reselling for other people until you have enough money to buy your own inventory and then kickstart your business as a vendor. And also, if you're a vendor, like those of you starting your businesses from home, you can upload and list your products on the marketplace, and you get drop shippers to drop ship the products for you. So that's just not you selling your products, but other people selling for you. And that's a lot of visibility. And it's also a way to increase your sales and grow your business. And for the shoppers, we have a group buying marketplace. Is launching very soon. What it means is that you can actually team up with other shoppers, and together you can buy goods in bulk and save costs on their items. Most vendors would prefer to like sell in bulk because it helps you clear your inventory faster. And if you're buying in bulk from a vendor, they give you bulk discounts. So you may not be able to afford the products on your own, but if you team up with other shoppers, together you all can actually shop and buy the products. So thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Hafsat. Thank you, Aurelie. Thank you, Mariam, for joining us. This was such an insightful and educative and a fun webinar. Thank you so much. And have a nice evening, everyone. Bye.